Hi, welcome to the NFPA LiNK YouTube channel. This page is dedicated to answering key questions that you have related to electrical and life safety. With the easy-to-use access to NFPA codes and standards, NFPA LiNK is your window to productivity. Now, in this video, I want to introduce auxiliary service providers. And this is a method for transmitting signals off premises for a fire alarm and signaling system. And the requirements for these providers have been added to the 2025 edition of NFPA 72, which is the National Fire Alarm and Signaling Code. So let's go ahead and take a look at NFPA 72 and look at those requirements that have been added. Now, notice I only have the 2022 edition right now because the 2025 edition of 72 has just come out. I haven't even added it to my dashboard. So I'm going to go ahead and change my edition here to the 2025 edition. And I'm going to make sure I favorite that and add it to my dashboard so I don't have to go looking for that later. Let's go ahead and look for auxiliary service. Just go ahead and search it. It's just a quick way I use to get to things. I know it's in chapter 26. That's where those main requirements for an auxiliary service provider have been added. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to go into all the details on these requirements. I kind of just want to introduce what an auxiliary service provider is. And I think the best way to do that is we're going to actually scroll down. We've got some enhanced content that's been added about the change, about some of those requirements, a little bit more detail. But we see a new definition's been added in chapter 3.3.3.31 on auxiliary service providers. I'm going to go ahead and open up that in book view because I want to take a look at the annex. So I think that provides the best way for me to explain. Again, annex material is not a requirement. It's added by the technical committee to provide some detail on the change or some details on that requirement. That's not necessarily a requirement. It's just more information. So always take a look at annex material if it's there. And again, we've got more enhanced content, expert commentary that's been added on that. But I want to take a look at this drawing. So this drawing shows what an auxiliary service provider is. Now, with a typical protected premises fire alarm system that's sending signals off premises to a supervising station, typically we're going to have a communication pathway right here that goes right to the supervising station. So all of those signals, whether it be alarm, trouble, supervisory, is going to get sent right to that supervising station. And what's happened is we have a new technology, auxiliary service providers, which could be cloud-based. It could be many different types of technologies. It could be internet-based. But what it is it's a way of intercepting signals on the way to the supervising station. So the protected premises fire alarm system is going to send signals to that auxiliary service provider, and then they're going to retransmit those signals to the supervising station. Now, what that allows is the auxiliary service provider can also send notifications to the building owner or representatives, whether it be emails or text messages, or they have an app or a web interface that the owner can now look at their fire alarm and signaling system at their premises and see if there's any issues. So that allows for additional signals to be sent off, but it'll also retransmit to that supervising station. Now, this is a relatively new technology that's been introduced, so we needed to make sure that requirements were added into NFPA 72 to make sure that all of these signals are reliable. So we're adding another item, in that communication pathway. We want to make sure that that auxiliary service provider is reliable and it's reliably sending signals to that supervising station. So that is why those requirements have been added. Now, if you want more information on how you can use NFPA LiNK to check out requirements in NFPA 72, changes to NFPA 72, or any other codes and standards that are in NFPA LiNK, go ahead and check out nfpa.org/link.